So, sitting down here for another episode of The Name Above the Number, would you like to start off by introducing yourself with your full name and position and how long you've been at Dorking Wanderers?
Uh, my full name is Francis William Vincent, and did you ask my position?
Yeah, position.
My position is anywhere on the pitch at this point. Honestly, as long as I'm out there, I don't really mind where I'm playing. But I would say in my head I'm a midfielder.
Any particular part of midfield, more attacking or central or wide?
Um like a number 8.
Number 8. Nice. You've obviously been playing sort of in a back three for Dorking since you come in because of injuries. How's that been sort of adjusting to that? Is that a role that you've played before, or yeah, how have you taken to that as a position?
I've played left back before, and I feel like left of a free, so left centre back in this team, it's quite similar to left back. So I felt like I've adjusted quite well to it. And yeah, even just mindset changes. Like I've noticed, like I really want to not concede a goal. Whereas yeah, when you're in midfield, you're more probably focused on trying to score a goal. Where I'm thinking like I really don't want the other team to score because it's like obviously you have to have a big part in that. But what I noticed with that position is genuinely just concentration. If you're concentrating for the full game, yeah, you might get done by a bit of skill at times, or someone just does something good, like a good attacker. But I feel like the vast majority of the games I've played in, if I've been concentrating fully, it's been all right. Like know when to clear my lines, know when to play. But yeah, it's when you're not concentrating and then you realise you're out of position and then you're like scrambling a little bit. So yeah, mainly it's just been trying to concentrate for the full game. And yeah, I've enjoyed it. It's a new challenge. I've never got a good mindset, like positive mindset. Always, anything comes at me, I'll just try and give it my best. So yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that what you said? What you just said then about like that's the biggest sort of challenge you've had in terms of coming into it. Like something that you might not have thought about before in terms of having not played that position. You maybe take it for granted, then you start playing the position, and you're like, oh, now I need to deal with this thing now.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. I find it tough at times. Like aerial duels, I would never say is like one of my main strengths, and a lot of teams have obviously seen when I'm playing there, they've tried to target me. But apart from a few moments where maybe I made a few mistakes, I feel like I've handled it quite well. And yeah, I just enjoy new challenge. I'm learning more every time, and just yeah, it makes me more reliable as a player to pick for the team. So I'll just keep going, give it my best.
How's it been sort of settling into Dorking life as a whole and Mark White as a manager?
It's been quite easy. I feel like yeah, one thing with the gaffer, I feel like he really gets recruitment right in terms of character. I feel like um, all the members of the team are like legends. Like I really get along with all of them, and it's a pleasure to come in every day and see them. Not just train, like I love training, I love football, but also I've been in teams where maybe don't get on with as many of them. But I literally get on with everyone here. So yeah, it's been quite easy in that respect. Yeah.
And Mark as a manager?
Yeah, just great guy, super honest. You know where you stand the whole time, which is, I think, is what I need. And I feel like everyone needs. You might get battered here and there, but it's good. I think like it's good to know what he's thinking, and it just makes it easier. It makes it easier. Yeah, it makes it clearer in the head. Yeah.
Would you say there's other managers previously that you've had that stand out to you in terms of adding something to a game or a piece of advice that they've given you that you can, recall?
Definitely, yeah. I feel like in football you sort of pick up things from everywhere. Like I'm getting to an age now, I'm like 26 now, where I've had quite a few managers. I've been at lots of different teams, and it's the same thing. It's like me playing left centre back here is just another thing to add to my knowledge of football. And I feel like I've been picking things up everywhere I go to get me to this point. Even the way we play here, there's been new things that I've learned. Talking about like plus ones at the back, plus ones ahead. Like, I've never really seen it in that way. Like yes, it's similar to stuff I've done before, but I really love the game of football, and I like to see how everyone approaches it differently. And yeah, it's exciting. We dominate the ball. Like the last two teams I played in, Woking and Dagenham in the league above, was a lot of chaos ball really, which is still fun. I can still enjoy it. It's just different. But here we more often than not we dominate the ball, and that's been nice to know that you're going to get the ball when you're playing on a Saturday rather than just in the middle, like looking over your head.
I think it's obviously quite a big difference potentially between obviously the teams you mentioned there and Dorking, and then also switching up from National League to National League South. Like how's making that switch been for you?
Yeah, so obviously you have a bit of an ego as a footballer, and you want to play as high as you can. But having played National League for so long, probably like 4 or 5 years, honestly, I haven't noticed much different in terms of the level of play, especially with our squad. I feel like our squad would easily compete in that league and do well in that league because we have a clear plan, a clear strategy, and some great players. But the main other good thing about Connie South is that the travelling is much better. I feel like I'm spending a lot more time with friends, family, because I'm not travelling up to Gateshead on a Saturday, getting back at like 4 in the morning, stuff like that. Obviously, we know that's where we want to get to in the short term. We want to get promoted to that league, and I'll be happy to be back in that league once we do. Yeah, those are the main differences really.
Yeah, I think obviously maintaining that, like you said there, about like that work-life balance is like so important. How have you manoeuvred sort of keeping that balance? You said you did 4 or 5 years in National League. What kind of techniques have you had to sort of help maintain that balance and not go all in? Because obviously the pressure is to be all in and have nothing else, and that is what it takes sometimes. But I do think that sometimes that can push a player past the point of doing well, and burning out rather than having that balance. So yeah, how have you found that?
I think that's a great point that you made, because I feel like when I was a bit younger, yes, I'm still all in. I'm still training here every day, my hardest, and doing everything right as a professional, with a professional mindset. But definitely, having started my own business with 3 points, having something else to focus on as well as football is genuinely good for your football, in my opinion. Obviously, everyone can be different, but I feel like it's been helpful at times where maybe you haven't had the best game on a Saturday, but knowing you've got some plans on the Sunday that is still for the better of your life, for the better of your career in other areas, can really help take the mind. Obviously, I used to maybe if I have a bad game when I was younger, I'll be dwelling over it the whole week and I wouldn't get over it until the next game even. So I'm really past that now. I feel like I'm much more focused on just being present really. I just try and be present every day. Once the game's done, the game's done. The world keeps spinning. If you played well, that's great. If you didn't play your best, as long as you tried your best, then yeah, some days it's not going to be your day. That's what I've accepted now. Like before, obviously you want to do well every single match, but genuinely it's not like realistic unless you're maybe Messi. But even Messi probably has a bad game. So I just try and be present and just enjoy my life, and that's what I'm doing. Like I spend loads of time with my family, friends, girlfriend, and with the 3 points thing that I'm starting, it's been really, really helpful in that respect as well.
Yeah, mentioning that 3 points, that's definitely something that I was wanting to talk to you about today. Like if you could just tell people sort of like a bit about what that is and what your motivation is behind that, I think it's like really interesting.
Yeah, so it's basically a family or a community that we've built, and it's a lot of things. That's why I find it tough, this question, but I should get better at it. But basically, we started off by selling football boots. So I did it with my best friend. Obviously, I have all the contacts with knowing loads of footballers, so be able to get them the boots, source them the boots that they want, and we'd make it personal. We'd send them a personal postcard with a little personalised message for them, sort of make them feel seen. Not just Nike, just here, have that. It's like there's a personal touch to it, and we've actually got so much reoccurring customers because of that, because they like the experience, they like me and my friend who provide the service. PTS, 3 points, see that? Didn't even mean that. And then now it's evolved, so now we've got our own team. We play on a Tuesday night in like an 8-a-side league, and we take that really seriously, but it's really just for fun. And then on other evenings, we host sessions for anyone who wants to come and play, and the whole thing is about pushing positivity through football, pushing people to not be moany, to always react to adversity in a positive way. And I'm basically trying to prove the theory right. I'm not sure this theory is correct, because I'm not sure. The theory is that being positive is the best way to win. That's how you get the best out of your players. Obviously, I'm still not aware because I manage the games on Tuesdays, and at times I get irritated because obviously I encourage everyone to do skills and do play free, but sometimes they're losing the ball like over and over again, and I want to be like a normal manager that you'd probably get where they're like, "What are you doing?" Do you know what I mean? But I'll be like, "No, try again, do it again." And so I'm still trying to see if that theory is correct. I'm not entirely convinced just yet, but I'm going to keep going with it and see.
No, I think that's like a great message and a great sort of area of the culture to look into. And I think I'm interested in sort of like culture around football as a whole and like what your opinion is and sort of where the game's going and where like it could go in the future, and you know, from a Premier League level down to like a grassroots level.
I mean, yeah, there's so many different ways to approach a match, and there's so many different ways to win, and that's the thing. There's multiple truths. You could have the most toxic team where everyone's mouthing each other off and being horrible against a really positive team, and both teams might win. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not saying there's a right or wrong way. That's the best thing. That's why football's so amazing. Like, you could play a low block and win on the counter. Like, there's literally no right or wrong way. But yeah, like you said, it's more fun to be happy and to be positive, I feel like, and having a good environment. You see the real person. You see what that player really, how he really wants to play with no fear, and that's what I'm trying to see. And like we've reignited so many people's love for the game. We've got loads of ex-pros that come down and play who have lost their love for the game because of people, because of the toxic culture, because of the like you're maybe too scared to express yourself, or you're worried that someone's going to slag you off or whatever. Whereas at 3 points, it's funny, like everyone, there's no defenders, everybody is just coming in, doing their step overs and just having a great time, and it's beautiful to see. Like, I love to see players playing with no fear, and it's actually helped my career since starting it, because I go into games, whereas when I was younger I get really nervous. I'm not saying nervous is a bad thing, but I used to get quite nervous, but now I think about the way I'm trying to push others to be positive, and it makes me be positive. If I make a mistake, I'm not there dwelling over it. I'm thinking, react positive. You're human. We all make mistakes. React and go on to the next one.
I'm interested about like sort of where your footballing journey started. From a young age. Like, do you come from a footballing family, or was it sort of playing with friends at school and stuff? Like, yeah, what's kind of how did your journey start?
I'd say quite a sporty family. My dad was more into cricket, but he liked football as well. But I feel like I just took a liking to football so much from so young. I lived right next to a park, Ravenscourt Park, in West London, and that was I didn't have a back garden, but that was the back garden. So I'd be there all the time. After school, I'd be there. In school, I had some great teachers. I had a teacher called Mr. Dogood, which is like an unbelievable name because he's such a legend. And he used to put on like a before school club every day. If anyone wanted to come in early, they could come in and play football. But some of my first memories of enjoying football was just being the only one at school, just bring my ball, get there an hour before school and just be kicking it against the wall or whatever, whoever's there with me, just skilling them up. And yeah, I loved it. In my primary school, I was like the man, and then it just continued from there. Really, yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned there about playing in West London and playing around that. I feel like the London football scene is quite distinct to sort of everywhere else in the UK in terms of how people talk about like the little cage matches and all that kind of stuff. Like, did you have much experience of that, or was it more like you're more outside of that kind of zone?
No, definitely. Like, being near that park has definitely made me a footballer, because I was so young. Maybe I'll be 10 years old and I'll be playing with adults, and they'll be like, at start they'll be like, why is this kid playing? Like, I don't want to tackle him. Then I've nutmegged him and scored, and now they want to break me. Yeah. So that sort of made me. There was a great session that used to go on. I don't know if it probably is still going. Just a great bunch of lads that would just put on it. It'll be on every Saturday, and you go down there, and yeah, I'd just be there every Saturday, really playing against people bigger than me. And even now, like, I'm still not the biggest on the pitch, so I've always had to manoeuvre or be smarter than someone who can just bully people. I've never been able to really do that. I just try and outsmart the opposition, and I think I'm still doing that now.
Yeah, I think you can definitely like see that in your game, like we were saying about slotting into centre back and trying to be clever about the way you can manoeuvre yourself and go up against someone who's maybe bigger or faster, because no one's ever going to be the biggest and fastest on the pitch, So bringing it kind of like back onto sort of professional football. What would you say has been sort of like the highlight of your career so far, or maybe a couple if there's a few that stick out?
The highlight of my career was winning the National League. Like, even though I didn't actually play that much in that team.
Who was that with?
That was in Notts County. And I was honestly a squad member. I'd come off the bench most games, but I didn't play much. I wasn't one of the biggest players, but just because I played so much in that league, it was so nice to feel like I've been rewarded with a medal for just all the games I've had in that league, because I've had some tough times. Like National League, like I hate it and I love it because it's given me so much good moments, but it's also having so much tough moments, so many setbacks, so many tough games where you've just been bullied or whatever, and it was nice to have that moment with a few of my close friends where we knew really worked hard. Like, even though I wasn't the main man by any means, it was still a nice reward. I would say, in terms of actual moments, my goal against Stockport on my Notts debut was definitely the best I've ever felt on a football pitch. That was that unbelievable knee slide, and it was like, I thought I was going to the Prem after that game, I swear. I'd say those two moments, but there's been so many. It's just ups and downs the whole time, really.
On that then, I guess, is there like moments that stick out where, it was a big obstacle to come over, or like a really low moment, and sort of like, if you're happy to talk about that, what would that have been? And I know you spoke a bit about now how your mindset is, world keeps spinning, pick myself up. Mm-hmm. Like, how was that your mentality when whatever this instance occurred, or like how do you deal with that?
Yeah, I feel like I'm naturally a positive person, but definitely football. I love football so much because it's taught me so much as well, dealing with dealing with not being happy with yourself, dealing with just other people being crap to you. There's definitely been a lot of low moments. I've been released by football clubs 4 times. And it started from when I was 16. I got released by QPR, and I remember getting in my dad's car, and just like bawling out, just start crying. But honestly, it just shaped me to I didn't give up at that point, where I feel like my parents wouldn't have even they would have been surprised if I just be like, I don't want to do football anymore. But from then I just knew, I don't know, something in me, I just always wanted to be a footballer. And the fact that I have become a footballer keeps driving me on. Definitely some other low moments, and one that sticks in my head is because we just played against Chelmsford. The last time I was at Chelmsford, I was playing for Aldershot actually, and I was playing for a manager I really liked, but he was under pressure, and I knew if we didn't win that game, he would probably get sacked. And like, I was trying way too hard, and I actually messed up for one of the goals. And I remember just knowing that he was gone, and I felt so responsible. And that was probably on the pitch. That was one of the lowest moments I've had, and I felt so bad about that. But like I said earlier, the world keeps spinning. Sometimes the football gods, we call them, they can be good to you, but they can be bad. Like, some days you feel good, you're feeling good, like, I've got a great preparation. You get onto the pitch, and your legs are just not doing what they're meant to be doing, and you're like, you just can't understand why. But sometimes it's something deeper than you don't know what's going on. And then other days, you might have a terrible preparation for the game. You go out there, you're not thinking about nothing, and every single thing you're trying is coming off, and you're like, wow, this is so easy, I'm never going to play bad ever again. But that is not true.
I think it's funny you mentioned that, because Fulks said the same thing in terms of like being released. He was saying was kind of like toughest moments, but also like the best moments for him in terms of learning a lot. And like you're saying then about, he said, I asked him what the best piece of advice was that he'd ever heard, and he said, don't go too high of the highs, don't go too low of the lows. Like you said, that thing of, you play having a game and you think, this is me now, I'm playing, you know. And is there any advice like from a certain person that sticks out, like family member, manager?
Do you know what? Yeah, you know that don't get too high, don't get too low. I hear it, what they're saying. But I'm on the thing of get as high as you can and don't get too low. Because if I'm high, I'm thinking I need to enjoy this high because sometimes they don't come as often. So I'm going to enjoy myself. When it's going well, I can enjoy myself. But obviously now I'm older, I'm aware when I'm on a high and I'm like, this will pass as well. But it's like when the low moments are there, this will pass as well. So definitely a good quote, and I know so many players live by that. But yeah, I like to enjoy myself too. Best advice, honestly, it wasn't to me. With Nelson Mandela, he said, "I either win or I learn," and now that's my motto. Ask anyone that knows me, that's the way I rock. Like, if you mess up, just try and learn from it. You're not a loser if you learn from your failures. So win or learn. That's it.
I think that's just something that every person who's made it in any sport or in anything, like you might look at someone high up and think, oh, like they've had it easy, like they know, Michael Jordan, any of that, but he said there's that quote from him, I can't remember exactly, about missing, like even though he scores how many shots in a game, he's like, I've missed 500 in training, and you don't see those ones, but it's those that help you learn and grow and stuff. So
on that, like the games what I felt the most annoyed about is when I've had maybe an opportunity to have a shot or I've had an opportunity to risk something and then I haven't taken it, and it's like there was a free kick the other week and I took it and I didn't score, but it's like I was glad I actually just took on the opportunity to take a shot. Do you know what I mean? Whereas when you bottle it, you just feel worthless. It's just like you might as well go for it. If you mess up, like again, the world keeps spinning. I keep going back to that one, but it's true.
Yeah, 100%. I think that sort of speaking on like risk aversion, I feel like it's something that you kind of see at all levels of football at the moment. So you watch Premier League teams and it's all about the top teams, like Arsenal, City, Liverpool. It's like keeping the ball and trying to create the best chance where you're less, not likely to lose it and concede. Do you think that is the direction that the sport is going in, and is there a way of sort of putting it back to Jogo Bonito, Brazilian football, playing with fun and flair, or do you think that time is gone? 'Cause it does seem to be like we're seeing that less in the game nowadays.
Definitely, I can see where you're getting at, and I remember I was watching Arsenal versus Newcastle a few weeks ago, and I remember watching that. Obviously, Arsenal were like maybe the best team in the Prem at the moment, and it was just physicality and just set pieces, and they just bullied them, and they won. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, well, it works, doesn't it? So that's the thing. Football can be played in so many different ways. I'm not going to come here and say they shouldn't do that. Like, they should do that. But I feel like in everything there's trends, and trends always come full circle. So I think eventually it will probably get really even more boring than what people think now. It'll probably get even more boring, and then it will come. Hopefully, it will come full circle where there's like Ado Tarat, Ben Ramas, Ben Arthurs, and players like that. What's his name?
Frank Vincent.
Yeah, Frank Vincent, and then Lee Trundles, players like that. Like they'll come back in hopefully. If 3 points takes over the world, which I'm planning to do, definitely there'll be some mavericks scaling people up on pitches near you.
Yeah, nice. Love to hear that, mate. If you could change any one rule in football, what would it be?
No draws.
No draws.
No draws. Like you have to. I don't know how you do it, but
yeah, what's the
maybe
solution?
It's just pens. Maybe you just have to go pens every game.
Golden goal?
Or it gets to a certain moment and golden goal is good, but then you might play on for too long. But yeah, just would encourage teams to go for the win every game, not go away from home and play for a draw. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would definitely solve the issue we were just speaking about then.
Yeah, potentially, yeah.
If you got a dream five-a-side team, any players, who are you picking?
My dream five-a-side team, I'm going to go Buffon in goal, just because of his style, and he's obviously an unreal goalie. I'm not going to play any centre-backs. I'm going to get Yaya Toure as sort of a CDM centre-back role. We're planning to have the ball a lot, because of the ball retention should be good with this team. Yaya Toure, we're going to have Fabregas. How many? I've got 3 left.
No, you got. Okay, yeah, keeper in goal and 5 outfield. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, Buffon, Toure, Fabregas, Messi, Neymar.
Last one's a hard one.
I'm trying to think 5 aside.
Mm.
Because obviously I love Ronaldo. Like, I'm not disrespecting Ronaldo, but he'd be pretty good 5 as well. We're gonna go Rooney.
Rooney,
Yeah,
nice.
Rooney, because he can do it all and he can score. He can finish.
Did you ever watch Street Striker back at
Yeah. What a show. We should recreate it.
100%. I've got a question here about sort of the culture of football. You know, whether that's about like sort of abuse from fans and that sort of rivalry between fans. Do you see that as a good thing? And you know, like players getting the mick taken out of them by opposition fans and the grief that fans give to each other? Or yeah, what's your sort of take on that?
Yeah, I think fans definitely have a right to voice their opinion. I feel like in being a football fan, when I was a QPR season ticket holder when I was younger, like there was a guy we used to call Shouty Man, like next to us, who would just scream and shout the whole game. But I feel like that guy needed that to let out his emotions. Maybe he's in an office all week, or I don't know, he's doing something he doesn't like or something, I don't know. So he needs some release. Obviously, as the player, like I don't want some guy screaming at me, but I know when I'm playing, if we play well, we're impacting these people's happiness. And if they think we're not doing well, they can tell us. I think there's a line, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? When it gets a bit personal, you're a bit like, that's too far. But yeah, I don't really take anything personally. Well, I like to think I don't take anything personally. So by any means, if you want to have a scream at me, go for it. Yeah.
I've got some questions here from fans, and one of them leads into something else that I wanted to have a bit of a chat with you about. One of the questions from Sloan Smokey asks, are you a hippie?
Am I a hippie? I've been labelled a hippie. I wouldn't self-proclaim myself as a hippie, but I guess in quite a non-hippie industry, being football, yeah, if you have anything that's a bit alternative, you can get labelled as a hippie. So, I mean, hippies are not bad. You know what I mean? They want peace. Maybe I am a hippie. Yeah.
What sort of opinions and like worldviews would you say that sort of maybe make you a bit more distinct from other players? So I know Mark's mentioned it a bit before, and like you said, there's a bit of a people get ripped on there, you know, as a sort of social thing in football. What do you think? Yeah, is like your takes that bring that on?
I don't know. I because I feel like not always, but I try and be my full self all the time. And I feel like me being my full self encourages other people to be their full selves and not be stuck in a box. Like I used to be worried what I'm going to wear to training because I know I'm going to get battered for this and that. But then I got to a point where I was like, why do I even care what anyone thinks of me? Obviously deep down it's still ingrained in you, like you still think about these things, but I try and distance myself from that and just try and be myself. Wait, what was the question again?
Do you see that rub off on any of the players around you, do you think?
I think so, yeah. I feel like me being my full self encourages it off. Like, maybe they don't even think about it consciously, but they just think if Frank can just do whatever he likes, then I can do whatever I like. I'm not saying I'm doing whatever I like, but yeah, and I'll just be open. If I hear something that's a bit like over the line, I'll maybe call someone out about it. Which is, I think, a good trait, because yeah, in footy you can hear some mad shouts. But yeah, I just want people to be happier, be more positive with each other. So I guess that's what I'm pushing for.
Yeah, I think if that's the opinion that makes someone a hippie, then everyone should be a hippie. You know?
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
I've got a question here from Logan R. Hay, which maybe we did cover a bit, but it was, how do you balance your football and personal life, especially with such busy game schedules nowadays, so filled?
That's a good question. I have to sleep a lot. Like, even today, I'll finish training, and I was just saying it to Alfie, and I was like, the biggest privilege of being a footballer, a full-time footballer, is your work is done, you get to go home, and you can have a nap, and that's actually good for your career because you're getting recovery in. So that, and I'm very conscious of how lucky I am that is the case. But definitely, I need sleep in order to be this energetic version of me. I have to get my sleep and be present when I'm with my family and friends, because it's just, if you're knackered, it's just you're not really actually there, are you? So try and balance it that way. Get a good night's sleep. I go recover, David Lloyd's, sauna, stuff like this. But yeah.
I think those concepts of being present and being grateful for the privileges that a lot of us have are really key. But I think they're quite difficult to do because it's sort of a bit of an abstract thing. How would if there was someone sort of looking to try and be more present or be more grateful in their day-to-day life, what kind of advice could you give those?
I think it's just remembering, even just being in this country we're so lucky. Like, we wake up, you hear a helicopter overhead, you're thinking it's an ambulance or it's some rich person. Like, you're not thinking of war or anything like this. So there's so many things to be grateful for that sometimes, of course, I wake up some days and I'm like in a bad mood and I'm not even feeling as grateful. But then you just have to remember, health first. I always say that health first. If you've got your health, you're already so lucky. If you can see, hear, like, one thing I try and do if I'm feeling not grateful is just force it out of me. Like, say 10 things out loud. In the shower, you just say 10 things, and it's like even the shower overhead is a blessing. Do you know what I mean? So, if you believe in God, thank God. So it's good.
Yeah, I think that's like, it's kind of sounds a bit sort of like mindfulness. And I studied some sports psychology personally, and I know that like there's a huge part about how changing the mind then reflects itself in your outside world, and it's an easy thing for people to reject. But I think there's a lot of studies out there that do show that like having that positive mindset and changing the way you do things does end up reflecting itself in your surroundings.
Definitely, I feel like one thing that I used to do would I maybe have some negative self-talk. I would like make jokes about myself to put myself down, and it's sort of a coping mechanism that I still see like loads of people do in football, and I understand why they do it, but I try and limit that conversation from me giving it out, because just try and love yourself. You can't. It sounds like people would maybe hear this and think, "Oh, what's this guy on about?" But it's just, you got to be grateful, but you got to put yourself first, and I think that's one way of doing it.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Got a couple sort of smaller questions here from some of the fans. We've got from JX Sim 8 said, "How bad really is Niall shooting?"
Well, I feel like that edit on Bunch of Amateurs just didn't do Niall any justice. But honestly, I will back that guy. He's a good player, and I think, like I was saying earlier, just take the shot. Do you know what I mean? I think he's got more bottle for taking the shot, even though he gets battered so much for his shooting, and he still took on that shot. So I commend him for that.
Albie.Bowden said, "Who has the worst hair in the squad?"
Oh God.
Mora.
I was just about to say that. I'm sorry, Mora. I love you, but you're looking like Wesley Sneijder, man.
And then we got one from Strength and Conditioning, Ben Bacon, that said, "What do you think of pickle juice?"
Very good. Very good. If you ever watching Dorking and you see me run over around the 60th, 65th minute to the dugout, I'm probably going to get some pickle juice. It doesn't taste great, but it's like so shocking to your body, like that it just takes your cramp away. I don't know what the science is behind it, but it seems to be working, because I used to get cramp quite often, and then since the pickle juice, touch wood, I haven't had any cramp.
Magical pickle juice then. In every interview I ask the player to ask a question for the next one coming on, but you don't know who it's going to be yet. So Harrison asked one. He said, "What's your favourite thing to do outside of football that doesn't include any sport at all?"
Ooh.
What came to your head then?
Sauna. I like being in the sauna.
Nice.
I really like the sauna, yeah.
Solid. And if you've got a question for the next person, don't know who it's going to be. It can be literally any question you want.
Okay. Have you hugged a tree before?
Nice. I like it. I wonder who it's going to be. I love if it's like Tony Craig.
I don't know if you ask the question.
So I've just got some like final general questions here to finish off with. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
10 years. Well, like, I'll be coming, hopefully, I'll still be playing. But definitely having to think about what I'm doing after.
Connie South?
Connie South or higher? Yeah, definitely. But I feel like I'll play football until I can't play any longer. But yeah, hopefully 3 points is, everybody knows what it is. And I've got loads of cash. And I live 6 months in UK and 6 months somewhere really hot.
Anywhere particular?
Maybe in Italy, maybe in Brazil.
Couple houses maybe?
Don't know.
What does success look like to you?
Just someone who's content or like happy with where they're at. That doesn't mean you're not pushing for more, but just breathing, smiling. If someone's happy, they wake up and they're happy to wake up. They want to go about their day. They're looking forward for life. They're excited for life. Like, I think that's success.
I think just for the final question for you, I'd like to know is, what do you think is the meaning of life?
Mate, I don't know. Just gotta enjoy it. You only got it. You might. I don't know. No one knows what happens when you die. So whilst you're here, just spread good vibes. Enjoy yourself. Just try and be a good person.
Love it, mate. Well, thank you very much, man.